Hey, hello there. You know what? In therapy, if you focus on the process, the solution will take care of itself. It's true. Focus on the process and the solution will take care of itself. My name is Susan Wallace and this is a short masterclass on process-focused hypnosis and why that is fundamentally different from a lot of the hypnotherapy training that you'll see advertised online. Now, I teach this form of hypnotherapy on the Triple Diploma course in hypnotherapy, in mind coaching and in online therapy, and you can start learning how to apply this process in my brand new foundation course, which is called Coach the People You Love, how to help them remove blocks, create change and seize opportunities. Anyway, today's not about those things. Today's about process-focused hypnosis. So let me tell you what you need to know about it. Right, when you're working with a client, your client is going to show up and they've got the narrative. That is the story of the problem or the challenge that they have. And what they bring to therapy is this. It's called the content. They'll tell you about what the problem is, when it started, when it happens. And that's their verbal narrative. That's the words that describe their experience. But the thing is, there's a lot more going on than that. And a really good therapist is going to dig deep and to discover the process. Now, the process is all about, the process is more than the verbal narrative. The process is also about the body narrative and how their body language, the way that they carry themselves and how their nervous system becomes dysregulated or regulated. That's all part of the narrative. And a good therapist, a savvy therapist, will pay more attention to what's going on in the body than they will to just that verbal narrative. So when your client shows up for therapy, they're going to bring that story with them. We call that the content, the what and the when of the problem. And your job as a process-focused therapist is to develop a high level of rapport with your clients and to ask the right questions to develop the kind of insights that will help to unpack the problem. And you see, every problem that we have in life, well, not just every problem, but everything in life, every experience that you have has a structure. And if every experience has a structure, well then problems have a structure too. So during therapy, your job is to ask how questions. How questions will help you to understand the structure of the problem, the experience that your client is having that goes beyond the mere words that they say. Now, this is particularly important if your client is showing up and they have any kind of trauma. Because when we experience trauma, very often we can't even get the words out because the trauma is actually sitting within the body. And you'll know this from experience, that you're sitting there with a brand new client and they start to tell you about the things that are going on in their life and they try and tell you how it started and they just become so blocked because they just can't get the words out and they begin to really feel it and it's just too much for them. And you know, when that happens, it's really important that you have the new kind of rapport, and the new kind of rapport is called social engagement. It's where you have the ability as a therapist to use your own body narrative to help their nervous system to just calm down. So a process-focused hypnotherapist is able to use rapport to help their clients to regulate their nervous system sufficiently so that that body narrative doesn't take over, so that they're not working from a a dysregulated nervous system, and you know yourself that if something is going on in your life and if it's a problem, you can't help but feel it. You'll experience it in, you'll have rapid heartbeat, your breath will be shallow, you'll have a quiver in your voice, you might feel really hot and stuffy, or you might feel cold and clammy. And if your clients are showing up like that, it's so difficult for them to be fully present. So your job straight away is to help develop that deep level of rapport. And rapport, I'm going to be straight with you, it's an old-fashioned word. What we're looking to do now as therapists is to build up what we call social engagement. Think of it like this. Your nervous system is like a ladder. The higher up the ladder you go, the more calm, relaxed and comfortable you feel inside your person. And when our clients are describing their challenges to us, if there's any kind of fear or anxiety or trauma there, all too often they'll end up activating the fight or flight response, and they'll have all of those uncomfortable symptoms in the room with them. Or if it's particularly bad, they go further down the ladder and they might become numb or frozen, or they might shut down. And of course, if your client is presenting like that, well, then it's very difficult to actually work with them. So what's really interesting and what's really good about the way that I teach process-focused hypnosis is that you're going to learn pretty much straight away on the Triple Diploma course. You're going to learn how to use what we call a trauma grounding kit, so that the moment your clients show up and they're exhibiting any signs of anxiety, fear or discomfort, you're going to use your body to help them to feel calm, relaxed and comfortable, so that they feel socially engaged, so that they feel safe within your space, and so they're able to go inside and answer the deep questions you'll have. And you see, you'll ask your clients to go inside and you'll ask them a lot of how questions. You'll say something to them like this: Susan, when you were telling me about your problem, I noticed the way that you sounded panicky. You couldn't quite catch your breath. Tell me exactly, what were you feeling? How did those feelings start? How do they move inside your body? And tell me also, when you were speaking, how did you use your mind? Were you seeing pictures? Or did you have an internal dialogue? Did you hear your own voice telling you that you can't do this? So what a good hypnotherapist, what a process-focused hypnotherapist will do is they will unpack the problem. They will help the client to understand the structure of the problem, so that you as a therapist, you get to know exactly what, where, when and how that problem manifests itself. And then likewise, you're going to flip it and you're going to help your client to develop and conceive of exactly how they want to show up when they no longer have that problem. How do they want to think? How will they want to feel? How will they want to respond? How will they want to react? So process-focused hypnosis is what we do when we want to understand the sensory part of our client's problem. So we get to understand how their senses are contributing to the problem, how their senses, what they're seeing, what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what they're hearing, and what they're doing is stopping them or blocking them from moving forward. And then we ask the same questions to help them to develop what we call a mental model of how they want to show up when their problem is no longer a problem. So that's an overview of process-focused hypnosis. And you might be thinking to yourself, Susan, there's way too much stuff in this. There's way too much information. But here's the thing. If you're going to invest your hard-earned money and your time and your energy into getting qualified and becoming a professional hypnotherapist, well then we've got to pop the hood and you've got to learn the really good, deep psychological processes that underpin quality therapy. And so you need to understand how polyvagal theory, how that dovetails in with something like neuro-linguistic programming. Because you see, when a client shows up and they're having that fight or flight response, you need to know exactly how to help them, how to help their nervous system calm down, how to use your body to mirror, match, pace and lead, and how those skills from NLP will dovetail in with polyvagal theory so that you develop a real deep level of rapport with your clients, so that you're able to help them to activate the ventral vagal system inside their body so that they feel safe and so they feel socially engaged when they're working with you. And when they show up and when they have that level of mind, it's so much easier for you then to guide your clients to the solution. When you focus on the process, the solution takes care of itself. Now, one of the things that I'm known for in the industry is that I teach solution-focused therapy. So solution-focused therapy cannot be done. You cannot get a solution if you don't focus on the process. If you don't know how to unpack the problem, look at the various elements within it, see what's not working. And if you don't know how to conceptualize or to conceive of exactly how your client wants to be, well, they'll never really get to where they want to go. So when you learn therapy with me, I'm going to teach you how to help your clients to test the results so that they can make sure that they've got the results that they want. And let me explain how that works. So you'll probably design your sessions in such a way that you have them end about 10 minutes before the time is up. And you'll look at your watch and you'll say, oh, look, we've got 10 minutes left to spare. How about you and I go for a walk in the park and let's look in the long grass, let's look on the walls and let's look on the fences and see if we can find some of your 8-legged friends. So that's something that you might say to someone who showed up who had a fear of spiders. So you're taking them out into the environment and you're going on a spider hunt. And because you already have learned a trauma grounding kit, because you're a process-focused hypnotherapist, because you're solution-focused, I can promise you this. You'll be able to show up as a confident, brave, and a very competent therapist. Because no matter how your client feels when they see a spider, you'll be able to help them to activate that trauma grounding kit so that they can feel calm, relaxed and confident. So to be able to test your therapy on that level is absolutely amazing. Sorry about that. And it's an amazing way for you to actually really build your confidence, to know that you can guide your clients towards those solutions. Another example might be, you might say, oh look, we've got 10 minutes to spare. How about you and I pop into the shopping centre and you take a ride in the lift just to discover how calm and relaxed you will feel. Now that's something that you might say to somebody who's got a fear of lifts or who is claustrophobic, just very uncomfortable in small spaces. You might say to your client, how about you and I step out the front and let's see what happens when I offer you a cigarette. And again, that's something that you might say to your client who has come to see you to overcome their addiction to nicotine or vaping or whatever it is. But here's the thing, no matter what your client shows up with, no matter what challenge they present with or what might spontaneously happen during the therapy session, when you are a process-focused hypnotherapist, you will always be able to unpack the problem. You'll be able to lay it out and see the component parts, what needs to be changed, how you'll be able to flip them. And no matter how your client shows up, you're going to be able to help them to calm down their dysregulated nervous system so that they're calm, they're confident, and they're relaxed when they sit with you. And it's not just that they will be calm, confident, and relaxed, but because you'll be teaching them how to be grounded, how to regulate their nervous system, you're going to be showing up in your best possible way too. So that's it for me for now. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Susan Wallace. I'm here to help you be the best, have the best, and give your best to your clients.